Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. I'm joined once again by Steve, and we're going to take a look at Frankenstein's Army, directed by Richard Raaphorst. This movie is set in the dying days of World War II and tells the story of a battalion of Russian soldiers who are lured into a secret lab of deranged scientists and forced to fend off an army of flesh and metal war machines. The film was released in 2013 to various film festivals and home videos. Steve, were you just swearing at me before I hit live?
I was, yeah.
Were you in the middle of swearing at me?
Why the hell did you?
The last thing, just before I clicked the button, you're going, yay! I just went.
And then you.
Is this one my fault?
This was your fault, yeah.
Is this my fault? Oh,
yeah,
then
I suggested the last one we reviewed.
I deeply apologise. I didn't realise.
The one with Peter Cushing in Donald Pleasanton.
That was fun.
From Beyond the Grave. I suggested that one, and you went, "Yeah, we got to do Frankenstein's Army at some point," and I didn't know what it was.
Neither did I.
I'd seen it like advertised, and it comes up on the screen for films you may like. And never again will I believe Amazon Prime for films I like. It can go away now. I might even cancel my Amazon Prime. Boom.
Do you know what? Amazon should send me a link of these are movies that'll wind you up and be good for your streams, and give me that category.
Yeah. But
hey Chris, how are you, man? Hope you're feeling better.
Chris. Yeah.
Probably is. Nazis were bonkers. They were insane. Freaking lunatic.
Hey Chris, did you know they're remaking Star Wars? You listen.
Don't start them. You'll start winding them up.
I sat there. I watched it twice. This one. Normally I watch it 3 times, but I just couldn't. I couldn't go through the rigmarole of the anger and of watching it 3 times. Yes, very strange film.
Hit him with it. He's ready for it.
I mean, the first thing that hits you is, oh my God, are these British people with British accents supposed to be Russian?
I was thinking Stalingrad.
Do you
remember Stalingrad with Jude Law, Bob Hoskins, and God, who was it played the German sniper? He's famous too. He's American though. But yeah, all these weird accents trying to be Russians, and like the most stereotypical Russian you could.
One of the guys is from my neck of the woods, from where I was from. He lived between Plymouth and Exeter. Luke Newbury played Sasha, and his real Devonshire accent was coming out in his Russian. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at those bloody
Stravacha.
It's just like, no, you're Russian.
Oh, you're going to finish Christmas waiting for you. You're remaking Star Wars? Oh, you forgot the joke now, haven't you?
No, I'm remaking Star Wars, yeah. That's Disney for you.
Oh, that is the joke.
No.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is definitely another tick in the box or notch in the belt, whatever you want to call it. I hate found footage movies. I didn't know. If I knew this was found footage, it wouldn't even been on my list.
I didn't realise it was found footage until he turned that guy over and his eye popped and the blood splattered all over the lens.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is a found footage film.
Because the trailer didn't... I thought it was going to be a monster movie.
Yeah.
Like a proper monster movie, and Nazi zombie things taking on the Russian army. But like Red Dead or something like that. I thought it was going to be like Red Dead Snow or something, or Dead Snow. Red Redemption there's 2 of them.
If you look at the
Outpost.
The DVD covers, or the promotional covers.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bloody big battle about it.
It's a monster, in German helmets type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. That just goes to show, if you do a good book cover or DVD cover, you can get away with anything.
Oh yeah, yeah, you certainly can.
80s had a whole decade of movies like that. We've been suckered in so many times in the VHS shop. Like, ooh, I want that. Oh God, you watch it.
But it can go the other way as well, because you can get some real stinkers of covers that you pick up and you think, oh no, I'm not watching that, and then you get to accidentally watch it, and once upon a time you think, why didn't I watch that when it came out? So yeah, I think getting the right cover, getting the right book cover or film cover, it speaks. It's worth $1 million, really.
And they did it with a trailer for this, because when you go on the Amazon, the synopsis comes up, so they made it look like an action movie.
Yeah.
So they'd hidden all the found footage parts. So it looked interesting, and I thought, yes, monster movie, because I love my monster movies, and
and
this is just torture porn. That's all this movie
is. I think in the first quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, it comes across as just a war film. But I had to laugh when the Russians were shooting in one of the first scenes. They were in battle with someone. One of the guys from the Russians runs right in front of a guy who was shooting, but he doesn't get shot by his own person, even though he should have, because he was right in front of him. He gets shot by someone from the other side. But I thought, oh my God, you've just run right in the line of fire of your own regiment. It's But did you notice that there was a guy wearing a helmet on the team? Who was it? Ivan, I think it was.
Was that the one whose helmet couldn't come off?
Yeah, but did you notice it was a Belgian helmet?
I didn't actually. I was in quite a bit of pain watching this movie. My brain was rebelling against me, going, "What are you doing watching this found footage movie?"
And something I picked up on was the grenades that they use. They were supposed to be Russian grenades. Well, the Russians actually made them slightly different to the Germans, but they obviously didn't tell the film crew because they were using German grenades. Whether that was just a thing that they did back over there, but I don't know. Yeah, they weren't Russian grenades; they were German grenades that they used.
I don't think there's much. There's, yourself, certain times of the year, especially in the summer, that M25 is just filled with reenactors.
Yeah.
And you have every tank, jeep, wagon going down to festivals, living history. I've known a few of them themselves. They are mad for it. They are looking for the most authentic kit. And but it's all, there's not very much Russian stuff, which is strange. It's all German, Allied.
Yeah.
You don't see too much in the way of Italian stuff either. So it's probably not that easy to get hold of, funnily enough.
Yeah, I suppose. Probably there's hundreds of German sort of ex-war gear that you can get, because they were a bigger army, weren't they? But you don't really come across a lot of people wanting Russian stuff, I suppose.
Which is strange. Could you think that is it because of the nature of the war? Because obviously Russians came in from the east and didn't really have much interaction with the Allies. It was just the agreement of basically the precursor to the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
Where the rest of the Allied and the Axis, interacted. Even you can get Japanese stuff, World War II Japanese stuff easier, but the Russian stuff is, you don't see too much of it about. Now you can get legit Kalashnikovs and stuff from the 80s and helicopters and you name it. You can get stuff from the Soviet era, Cold War, but the World War II stuff, you don't see that about. You don't see people wanting to reenact that.
Yeah.
Which people would rather dress up as a Nazi German than a Russian Red Army. Because wasn't it the Red Army was precursor to the Soviet Army?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Stalin was just coming to power at that point, and it was just the formation. It hadn't been the full USSR at that point. It was still Russia.
Yeah.
And the God, sorry, I can't remember. I got to be in history.
What were they called? God, brain's gone dead.
Yeah.
It was USSR, wasn't there?
Yeah, but that was that's what Stalin was building.
Yeah. And what was the one called before? Oh, that's gonna get me. We'll think of that one.
Yeah, because it's the Russian Federation now, but it's not the.
But in this film, the only actual Russian was that one who played Vasily, Andrei Zayats. He was the only Russian in the film.
The most irritating, annoying character. That mullet alone, like that should have told you this is the character you're going to get. Like, what the hell was that mullet about?
I know. He was the most annoying one in the film, wasn't he?
That's the worst trope in horror movies. You know that you have like in a slasher movie or anything, you have that one annoying character that they keep in about 3/4 in the movie just to wind you up.
Yeah, I know. It's the one that you spend time hoping that he gets killed soon.
And then they keep teasing you by him not getting killed and somebody else goes until eventually you get the payoff.
Yeah.
And it's boring.
Yeah.
But the premise of this, they could have done this without being found footage. Because the idea of they're advancing towards Berlin, they've got a propagandist with them who's filming, and they're, it's like having an embedded reporter these days in your section. That was a good premise.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they decided to do it found footage style.
Yeah, it could have just been an outright film from start to finish with.
Yeah, and cut back from him videoing and,
Yeah. But there was a film in the same year called Army of Frankensteins. I didn't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
This is just a...
Check it out. I don't think it did very well. But
was it an American one?
I've got it here.
Yeah. Armee, ARMEE. And I see a Confederate flag. Yeah, that looks pretty special. I'll not bother with that one.
Yeah. It's got a worse rating than the one we watched.
Oh dear, that's bad.
It goes back to the Confederate War.
Yeah, I think that's a Civil War and probably, yeah.
But I was there thinking, is it this one he wants me to watch? Which one is it? Is it Frankenstein? And then I checked and thought, no, it's Frankenstein's Army.
Yeah, and that one never even came across my radar. Yes. So this is pretty bog standard. And then when they get to the church,
yeah,
that's when it starts going weird. I didn't like the fact that they're, raping and pillaging on the way too. That was, but
it's a bit out of the air, wasn't it? It's just like,
it's like when a director does that stuff, I think they're trying to make you unsympathetic towards the characters.
Yeah,
it's like they're afraid, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, as you know. But what is it about filmmakers that they're afraid to get you invested in the character before bad things happen to him?
Yeah, there was a lack of need for that, I think, because they could have targeted really getting through to the sort of laboratory type of setting without actually going through the.
Especially when they spent all that time setting all the props up and then didn't really use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like a ghost train ride. After that, it went from a movie into a ghost train ride.
Was there ever a game made of it, a PlayStation game or anything?
Of this?
Yeah, because it seems one of those.
You always feel like you'd have to have a controller sometimes.
Yeah, Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when those things were coming across, with the like the
Yeah, you were almost expecting the two hands to appear and to go like down.
Yeah, you could shoot them. Yeah, you had to shoot them. And change guns and have a bazooka and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what it
That would be more fun.
Yeah.
God, it was one of them. Do you remember those? They still do those DVD games.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah.
Like turn left, turn right, and you use the button, and you have to wait for the disc to spin, and then it does something else. Then you take another option that spins the disc again, and it's absolutely god awful. Glad those things died to death.
This film, you ask yourself, the monsters that were in it, how did he come up with the designs? They're quite random, aren't they? There's no two the same. You got the one with the two garden hose on his arms. And you got another with a swimming helmet in it, and type of thing.
Yeah, what was the?
You got another one with them. Well, that there was one, wasn't there, that they passed? It actually looked like the character out of RoboCop.
The Ed 209. I was thinking of Ed 209. See, I was expecting. Say they had like 10 of those.
Yeah.
And they're building an army, and that was what was going to come out. And then you had your assault troops, so that's the ones that got in like with the blades and stuff.
Yeah.
But
that would have been more of a not realistic, but
but a purpose. He's got funding to create these things, and that was the threat. But this was just a mad scientist torturing people and making macabre, like Toy Story with the wee kid next door is like taking all the toys and sticking heads and arms and stuff. That's what I was thinking. One couple of artillery shells sorts that out. So what was the point of it?
Yeah, because you had that guy, wasn't it? It was the one with the mullet, and he was at the end. He was on like a trolley thing that we were pulling across, one arm missing.
Yeah.
Well, you and I would have been going, my arm's blown off. Not him. I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The way this was set up, so they're being led. They had the lieutenant in charge of them. And for a start, the lieutenant doesn't lead a section. It's a platoon sergeant. The lieutenant stays in the back and just stays on the radio and shuts his mouth.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Hides when anyone fires at him.
Yeah, and just yaps at the radio. I mean, it's a radio operator that gets sticked with the lieutenant.
Yeah.
Because the lieutenant, blah, 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 tell what's happening, fucking only just sent the message, sir, But
just make sure nobody kills me.
He gets killed, and then they have this weird discussion, Vitaly and Sergei, because it set Sergei up to be the hero of this. But I'm in charge, no, I'm in charge. And the way Sergei went, do you see the rank of my shoulder? I was like, if that was legit, Vitaly would have got punched in the pit. You know what I mean? It would just been, shut up, end of story. But they had this weird intellectual debate about who was in charge next in a military unit during a war where things are up against the wall. I just look at it going, who the hell made this?
These creatures are there and they're going, well, it's more or less the same lines as, what milk should we have in our tea? Skimmed or semi-skimmed?
Yeah, they had this weird debate about who's in...
I'm see those stripes on my arm? Well, I've been here longer. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I've dealt with a few 20-year privates, and you're like, there's a reason you're not getting promoted, you muppet.
Yeah. Who was it? Oh, I love that
one. This is we'll need plenty of distractions because this is a hard one to slog through because there's really no plot to it. There's no story. It just
going towards a war, aren't they? And Then suddenly they come across this laboratory, and there's a mad bloody doctor there making these things.
But then they reveal that Dimitri, the camera operator, is actually a captain of, probably assumes like KGB or something, but he's a captain, and then he's deliberately jamming the radios.
Yeah. Where did that come from? What was the purpose of that story?
Sort of none whatsoever, revealing them, and then you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Is this somebody trying to be clever who isn't? Who made this?
Did it then make you think, oh, there's a change in the story? The KGB knew about the experiment and have sent this team in to take a look. But then if they couldn't get their radio calls through, how could they report back?
Yeah. He wanted to make the offer to Frankenstein's grandson.
Yeah.
God, that hurt me to hear.
He wasn't, well, it was an insult, really, wasn't it, to the real Baron Frankenstein?
Yeah.
He was a genius, wasn't he?
Then you have this idiot, and they just tell you without telling you, sort of thing. It's like the most tenuous of tenuous links ever. And you're like, no, please don't, no. God, this review could end up being very short, because
it could do. Be a world record, wouldn't it? But,
I legit just struggled through this movie. I couldn't even do it the second time.
No, I like I said, I watched it and then I thought, is there going to be something that I missed here? Because I just don't get it. So I watched it a second time today, and I thought, no, I didn't miss anything. It's a bad movie.
Yeah. And they do all the tropes of found footage that I absolutely hate.
But it wasn't. You couldn't actually specify it was a found footage, because if you take Blair Witch, that was a dodgy camera following everywhere, and this was dodgy camera. Then it was film camera. Then it was dodgy camera. Then it was film camera, and.
But that's what they do. That's because they know they can't take a whole movie, so they pretend that it's everywhere and it's always on. And they tried to make it realistic with this bag of film that Sasha had to carry about. They didn't mention the batteries.
Yeah, and
another thing was this camera should have been smashed to bits, like 100 times over. And
you never actually saw the size of it, did you? With all the
you did. It was a handheld sort of box thing. Yeah. You did see it.
It wouldn't have been bigger than that for. Oh yeah,
that's why I wanted to watch the movie. I thought it was going to be a legit, straight up monster movie, and World War II Nazi monster things on stilts and crazy creatures fighting the Russian army. That's what I was expecting. That wasn't what we got. That was just painful. But yeah, that camera was stronger than Nokia 3300. Like after the first couple of explosions, even the initial battle, that thing should have just been torn to pieces.
Yeah,
because they're trying to get all the dramatic shots, and you're like, that camera built in. Taking that sort of damage would have just been fried.
Yeah. Yeah, it's found footage. I'm not a great lover of found footage films.
No, and people keep trying to convince me otherwise, and it's like the more I watch movies, I guess it's like you have no chance.
Because the old Labour Prime Minister was going to make one about his family, wasn't he, and call it the Tony Blair Witch Project.
Sherry Blair is a witch. God, one nasty, horrible. Don't start me, because I'm still after 1997.
Oh,
the on-run letters and all that was given to freaking terrorists.
I was my job ended when Labour come in, because we used to do GP fund loading with all the doctors and everything, and Conservative Party put that in place, and it was going so well, and suddenly Labour come in and says, no, we're not having any of that now, we're going back to the old ways. So my job with the NHS ended. Unless I was willing to be a brain surgeon. But
that's why I ended up changing cap badges about 4 times, because they started the SDR, the Strategic Defence Review, and they started just amalgamating regiments, thinking it were going to be this like homogenous thing like the Americans are. And I was originally they made my regiment part of another one, but yet we were a squadron in another battalion. So I was in the North Irish Horse, it was a cavalry unit.
Yeah.
And I was the medic in the cavalry unit. And what they did was they amalgamated into another unit of cavalry, and then we were also the recce squadron for the Rangers. And then I lost my job because they didn't have the position because of the amalgamations for a medic anymore. So I had the recap badge as a trooper. And then I had the recap, and then the amalgamated, it just was an absolute nightmare. So I actually, because we're technically part of the Rangers, I then, their boss, sort of like to cut on my jib and sort of talked me into coming over. So I changed cap badges again and then went across there. And then they changed that again because then the Rangers became the Royal Irish Regiment because they disbanded the road service. There's 20 battalions went down to 2. And then even the unit I was in, that's no longer that. That's amalgamated into something else now. And they were doing this all across the board. So then when I went, I got an attachment over to one of the Scots battalions, and they were doing the same there. They were frigging taking battalion, just merging together. And I was in one Scots, which was the King's Own Scottish Borders and the Royal Scots. And those two regiments hated each other, and then they were forced together into one regiment. And always what happens with these things, there's a certain clique gets in. Whoever manages to talk most gets their head shed in first. So you have like one pool, and I think it was the Royals got all their heads in there, and then the Home Service got all theirs and ours when I came back. And so you have these people that absolutely hate you just because you were a different unit, and they're trying to make jobs for the boys, and you've got all this aggro and angst because people don't understand how armies work. Especially the British Army. It's regimental tradition. Your regiment's linked to your hometown, your county, your friends and family, and that was that whole history. So you don't just represent. It's not a job, and that's the thing where this all came in, thinking it was it's just a job. They won't mind as long as they're still, turning up and getting paid. It's like, no, you need more than that to be a soldier. You need to have pride beyond just, and not even like politics. You can't rely on politics, because what happens when governments change? All of a sudden, you're not loyal anymore. You can't have that. So that's where the whole regimental. It's your pride in your cap badge first, and then your oath you swear. Because then you can ignore politics because you know that they're all, that swings and changes, but it doesn't matter because you know what you're.
Whatever they say, you got to do anyway.
Yeah, and what you're doing it for is your community, because that's where the regiments were linked to, and that all got thrown out the window from 97 onwards, and then that's the state of where we're in now.
Yeah.
Then they started civilianizing a lot of roles, and then you're having civilians appear like all over the place with not a clue and just winding people up. I'm out 10 years now and I'm still sore about it. I wouldn't even like to think what it looks like now. That's why I've got a massive recruiting problem, because nobody wants to go anywhere near it.
They're getting rid of them, but they're recruiting, aren't they?
Well, it's always
one minute they're saying, "Oh, we're laying off all these, these veterans and everything, these servicemen," and then they're recruiting all the youngsters to take their place.
But it has to be about balance, because you need the experience there. And yeah, of course, you get older, your body degrades, you're not as fit as you were. Fair enough. That's why you go into like command roles and other various things. But you need that experience to show the young pups when they come up, and you kind of need that balance as people leave and get fed up and have families and just reach the end of their time.
Yeah,
you need the influx coming in. It's a constant moving machine, but then people just don't want to join because it's just been since that time just destroyed. But we have almost become like the Russians. To see a sort of ragtag bunch of people thrown together with no discipline and just fighting with each other, and I'm actually in charge because blah blah blah, and not having that coherent of, because we were always taught you're only one bullet away from being a section commander. Being in charge, that's the nature of warfare. One bullet, you're in charge because you're the next one there, and that's why you're always trained like 2 ranks up than what you actually are. So I don't know how I went into that segue. Oh yeah, you brought up politics. Thanks.
That's all right.
That's still more interesting than this bloody movie. Because
I think, one thing about this, I think the makeup and the of the monsters was quite well done, but it was completely random. If you take what it was supposed to be, it was, for instance, you never saw there was a man inside a suit. You never saw that. It was the makeup was done quite well, and you began to wonder: was it just someone inside? Was it Mechanico? Who was actually working these monsters? Because you had one, he was on like stilts with 2 bloody walking sticks, wasn't it? Did you see that one?
Yeah, and that was the one in the cover.
Yeah.
And you're thinking it was going to be this huge thing, and I was wondering what the hell are they making that for, and then it turns out to be this size, and you're like,
yeah,
oh you bastard! I was just like, I felt betrayed.
That's super.
You know what I mean? I felt conned.
Yeah, but and then you had the one with the garden hose for his hands, and you think that was pretty random as well, because where did he get out of 2 garden hoses in?
Yeah, it's like we just got random stuff through together to make monsters. But
the German countryside.
What you just needed were a bunch of extras, right? And you just needed them done up in makeup like a zombie movie.
Yeah.
And you just needed to see them shambling towards the army, and you just need to see horrible things. Like, I'm a Warhammer 40k fan, so I'm seeing dreadnoughts and servitors and all that kind of stuff. I'm seeing, the real horror of that universe. And I thought that was going to get brought to life here. A bit of it, just taking somebody who's near dead, bringing them back to life, but they're dumb with mechanics.
I think if they had actually used the army in a battle scene, that would have been beneficial.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for the build-up for. And then the fact that they were taking the dead and bringing them back into an almost factory, and then the dead were getting churned back out again as robotic monsters.
Yeah.
And then the squad's mission was to find the HQ and get it directed to blow it up so that they couldn't find where they were coming from.
Yeah.
That would have been brilliant.
Or if, they'd attacked the Russians with, with one of the regiment who'd just been killed, like Novikov's. If he had been one of the monsters that was attacking them,
they start recognizing their own troops.
Oh, that's Novikov, that's Sergei, that's Sasha, that's Ivan. And they would have been so shocked that these monsters would have overpowered them in some way. But
because if you start seeing your own men coming back at you, and they're disfigured and made into like machines, and that's what I thought this movie was. I was not expecting this.
No,
and I'm a bit annoyed with myself for not checking into it more. But there
wasn't, like you said, it wasn't a story like that. It was like someone had just come up with I watched Frankenstein last night. Yeah, I watched Army of Darkness. I know. Let's make a film about Frankenstein's army.
And then they watch the Blair Witch Project the next day and go, do you know what? We can make it found footage.
I got my notepad here. Let's write the script on my little. Oh yeah, that's done.
Absolutely ridiculous. The whole Dimitri thing, that was just. I groaned. I went, oh, when he gave that reveal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, why did he? Well, like you said, it was KGB type of thing, wasn't it?
But you would get a trusted unit.
Yeah, you wouldn't get these. They would go in heavy-handed as well, wouldn't they? It would be a sort of a what's we call it? A unit that would be probably more protected than Hitler himself.
But like a Spetsnaz unit or something went in. I know I'm talking future, but whatever the precursor to the Spetsnaz was, it'd be something like that. And they'd be tooled up ready, and the idea is to grab Frankenstein, bring him out, or end him. And they would know that there would be no benefit to hiding that from them.
Yeah.
And the fact that we didn't get a sign of a Russian unit getting attacked by monsters.
Yeah.
Because there's no indication. There were just rumors, which seems a bit of a daft thing to waste time on when you're in the middle of an offensive and this is set towards the end of the war, so they were winning.
Yeah. What was the budget on this film anyway?
It didn't say, because it was film festivals and straight to DVD.
Oh,
budget. It's only when they only seem to release the budget when it's direct to box office, because then I could see the returns. But for some reason, when they make a movie to go out to film festivals and like the home movie market, they don't keep as good a track on it for some reason, which I think is daft.
Yeah.
I still can't get my head around movie festivals. I can't see how those things get movies out to the general public.
Yeah, because you see, this film done well at such and such a festival, and
where nobody goes to apart from.
And unless you actually come across it by reading, in the back notes on something, it's done well at the Cannes Film Festival, you would know. You wouldn't know of the film. You wouldn't think, we've got to watch that film that done well at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, because when the film festivals come around, it's not like it's advertised or you get the partake. It's a very sort of closed group. And I've been talking, I've been talking to filmmakers, and I keep asking about these film festivals because I still can't wrap my head around the benefits of them, apart from people trying to get their movie picked up, by studios. Because it seems like it's just a PR thing where studios not go to. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then there's movies that go to film festivals and you never hear from them again. They vanish.
Yeah, but you just suddenly see it, don't you? Like, if you read like the awards won on some of these things, and you think, oh my god.
Well, there's one. The Saturn Film Festival is one that keeps popping up. That keeps popping up in horror movies. It's like a sci-fi.
Say that I've seen one for horror movies, especially. It must be Saturn. It's,
I think Saturn is mainly sci-fi, but it seems to bleed a lot into the horror. It picks up a lot of horror movies.
There is a horror one, isn't there?
There probably is, but I can't.
I've seen it somewhere.
I try to look. Honestly, I try and do like a Google search. Horror film festivals, London, for example. Because if there's a certain time of year where the film festivals happen, I like to go. If it's worthwhile, not just a pretentious. If it's a pretentious arty-farty thing, I've no interest because I'd be bored and there'd be nobody there I want to talk to. But if there was like film festivals and we're getting a bit of an insight into indie movies as opposed to like the typical Hollywood stuff, I'd be interested in it. And if there was a chance to talk to some filmmakers, especially British ones, because we don't seem to, they're very reluctant to talk to people. It's a bit weird. Americans talk to you no problem. I can talk to 100 American filmmakers without batting an eyelid because they seem to be more open to conversation. British ones, they're like a hidden sort of thing, and you're like, come on, guys, how else are you advertising if you don't talk to people?
Yeah, you think they grasp the chance, wouldn't you? But
and
especially since they're trying to make a break, really. These you don't get many English horror films that are up in the same league as some of the Hollywood blockbusters.
Yeah, well, I'm not even talking Hollywood blockbusters. I'm just talking about indie movies.
Yeah.
I've noticed though that any of the British independent movies I watch, it's all these groups, funding groups. It seems very civil servant-y.
Yeah.
And to me, that's who you know, not what you know, sort of thing.
Mm.
And it's like, I'm not even remotely part of that world. I'm this, I go in there and just rub people up the wrong way, and they do the same to me. It's a strange culture. This was a Czechoslovakian one, wasn't it? It was a Czechoslovakian.
Yeah. It was actually filmed in the Czech Republic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I was watching it, I was thinking, I was trying to work out where it was, because I was thinking, British, it must be in Britain, whereabouts? And then I checked it from Czech Republic. I've been to the Czechoslovakia, but yeah. I suppose certain countries just allow you to go up and film, don't they? Go and do it. But
we were talking about this last night, actually. It's like cyclical. So it's wherever's cheapest at the time.
Yeah.
So the film companies come to film there, and then eventually someone sticks their arm in, starts asking, getting a bit too greedy. So all the costs go up. So then they move somewhere else. Because there's a lot of movies getting made here at the moment because we seem to be the cheapest. But eventually, won't be long before that becomes, someone gets greedy, the costs go up, and then they'll move somewhere else. It's never a static.
Do you know who is expensive to film, don't you? Is to film on the London tubes.
All right, well, it would surprise me with second.
They only allow you a 3-hour slot because they're operative all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But one station that closes during the night time, and that's the station they give you, but they only give you 3 hours. And speaking to Terry Stone, he's just extortionate. The price that they charge just to film in a tube station.
That's TFL for you. They're telling us here not to drive cars and use public transport, and then public transport is abysmal.
Oh.
And then we're due back in the strike season again soon.
Yeah.
The next couple of weeks, and then that's going to be. I remember that last year, and it was horrendous. Not getting home after 8 o'clock at night, leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning just to go and do a fucking shitty job, and because the strikes, you didn't know what was on or off, and you're checking the stupid app every day to see if you could actually get into work or not, or what the roundabout route was, and then that's another. It's like the NHS is another money pit that you can't put enough money into. It always needs more, and then it delivers worse and worse every time.
Yeah, I've got my political views on that, but we won't go there.
Yeah,
it's. I think someone up there needs to realise that all their things that they're grasping for votes for are related. If you're going to bring more people into the country for whatever reason, there's going to be more of a demand on finances.
You mean scale up the infrastructure to match, not just have a population boom?
You
what a mad idea.
Yeah. So.
No, but if you say that, you're an islamophobe and blah blah blah.
Yeah. I know.
You're one of these monsters in this movie.
Yeah. It's. Yeah, we won't
stay out of it. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like. I try to avoid politics altogether because you can't win. You can't win, and you can't have discourse, and you can't solve problems. Everything's just their camp, our camp, and you can't get through, and you can't get the problem because everyone deflects from the problem. to get sound bites, and it just never changes.
It would have been different if Prince Philip was king.
You could do a bit of him, but then again, he's a crap father because look at the state of his sons.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're like,
yeah, I know.
Oh God, what's it? Charlie Boy gave us a speech about we're all better together than apart and stuff, and fluffy wuffy stuff, and you're like, shut up, you idiot.
Yeah.
If you cared, you would have abdicated. You would have done the decent thing. The one decent thing that was left open to you was the abdicate, but you didn't because you're an arsehole. Oh man, but yeah, I don't think we're going to last an hour talking about this movie because there's nothing actually happens. Once they get to the lab,
most of the monster designs come from the creators' pre-production that started in the early 2000s, with the working title "Worst Case Scenario" as one of the first attempts to use the internet to gather support. So they actually tried to gather support for the film from the internet before it was actually made.
Well, like crowdfunding thing?
Yeah, no, not actually crowdfunding.
Oh,
actually, just the support to say how would you feel if we made this sort of film. 2 teaser trailers were released in 2006 that featured some of the creatures, but the film wasn't made until 2013.
Flip's sake, it's
a lot of the robotic monsters featured in this film inspired the design of the enemies from Resident Evil Village. Most notably, Propellerhead.
Hold on, when did Resident Evil Village come out? That didn't come out recently.
Yeah.
That's a recent one, so this was released before it.
Yeah, this was released 2013.
Yeah, Resident Evil Village didn't come out until a couple of years ago. What was it, 18? Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, but what they're saying is the monsters in the
2021.
film. Monsters in the film inspired the monsters in.
Oh, inspired.
Yeah, Resident Evil.
No, that's a spoof. That can't be right. A lot of people enjoy playing that game too.
I'm not game. My gaming sort of ends at pinball, Tetris.
Well, you can check this channel out for the State of My Gaming episodes. It's tragic.
My son tried to get me involved in playing Grand Theft Auto years ago, and he tried playing it sort of, between us. And I was more interested in what happened if you went on the pavement and knocked all the people down. And that was my level of Grand Theft Auto, was killing all the people in.
Yeah, until you got your stars up and then everyone came after you. Yeah. This would make a good video game. Like a Doom type video game.
Better game, and it would have made a film, really.
Yeah. First-person shooter video game would have been better. As a movie, it's absolutely diabolical. It makes no sense.
Like, I do like shoot 'em up games. I'm not very good at them, but I do like them. I have got Black Ops, one of the Black Ops ones at home. I don't think I've played it very much.
No, I'm not. I don't have a console. I just play PC games. But even then, I just can't play. I don't have the time or the interest to dedicate myself to get good enough.
No.
And that's unfortunately with those sort of games now that there's no casual play anymore. It's all straight up. You have to be like top of your game, best Wi-Fi, best internet connection, top everything. Like even playing the flipping Evil Dead game, you see those ones, that's brutal.
My son could never come and live up here because the maximum speed you get up here is 13. 13. That's it. 5 to 13 I pay for. And I still pay the same price as everybody else that gets 20 million gigs, and yeah, we get the fastest speed is probably about 13.
Oh God. Once I ditched Virgin, I've not looked back. Honestly, Virgin was horrendous. If you see some of the earlier streams, I'm chopping in and out. And there was times I even got kicked out of my own stream during interviews. Like, what the hell is this? And then, we're broken. We're getting it fixed. Yeah, when are you getting it fixed? Oh, right, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I got rid of them, I was like, haven't looked back. But what else are we talking about? Right. There's like the whole second and third acts, all just jump scares and body horror and torture porn. And then we meet Frankenstein himself. Like even the soup scene was just torture porn.
Oh no. Yeah, you got to drink this. I want to make you strong. He was saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, and one of the robots was like spilling soup over himself, and he threw. It was just pure. This is something you expect to see out of Saw or The Hostel or something.
Yeah. But anyone who didn't see what he was trying to feed, because it was red, and he was putting these bits of.
It was trying to hint that it was trying to hint that it was the leftover parts.
Yeah. And and then the thing went round his neck, didn't he? And wedged open his mouth, and he was feeding it in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just torture porn. That's not actually anything. There's no point to that. And then the doctor himself, like for the reveal of the evil character, the big bad at the end, he was an idiot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're insane. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We knew that already.
But come follow me, and this is where I'm saying it looks like Ghost Train, because he's going back and forward and that, and he's like, "Come follow me," and then a robot appears, and then it goes back, and I was just expecting a woo, from a. Oh, that's the way it just looked, and then.
Well, I don't think he was brilliantly cast as the Mad Doctor. I think
it was worse casting.
I think he was more of a. Michael Crawford in Some Mothers Do Have Them, but yeah, I think that was a very bad casting. They could have got someone a lot more prominent to be the Mad Doctor. I know if you go back to the Frankenstein movies, when you've got the likes of Peter Cushing and people like that who play the Mad Doctors and various other bits and pieces. And then you got this idiot who
he's just babbling.
He just didn't have an impact as they were all looking for. We've got to find the doctor. We've got to find the doctor, and then they find him, and it was a bit of a letdown, really. And he was.
And Dimitri's character had no so-called agent.
The doctor was going OTT on his acting, and I thought he was. Either he didn't portray it very well, or he was just trying too hard. Yeah, very bad casting.
Yeah, didn't work. And then I think we'll get the most unsatisfying ending ever.
Yeah, it was a bit of a sad ending, wasn't it? It's just like, I've just wasted 1 hour 24 minutes of my life for that.
Yeah. Dimitri's getting tied up or something, and then going to get experimental, and then Sasha appears from nowhere. Yeah. Did he get the camera? Or did he just run? What did he steal?
He got something, didn't he?
He took something. No, it wasn't the camera, because we still had to see the camera, because the camera had to fade to black, because that's the way.
Yeah.
I don't care, actually. He took something because the plot needed him to. And then he ran away, and then he went from being like a kid, conscript, to standing next to Stalin in the picture, and then the outro goes on longer than the entire movie. Like that was a never-ending outro. And credits. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, Sasha was. I think he was only about 20 when he made this movie, when he was very young. I know he was the one from Exeter. He lives in Exeter, in Devon. So he's probably one of those jobber actors, you know.
Nah, it's just, here's a job. Okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
Everyone's just down. Nobody's really invested in this. You can just tell there's nobody. They're just going through emotions.
But like I said, I could have killed you for making me watch it.
Well, I have to apologise because I didn't realise. it seemed like a fun premise. If I had knew it was found footage, I would have switched off straight away. I went, no, not doing that.
Yeah.
There you go. That was a movie, and I think that's our shortest review ever because we can't talk about it anymore. There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing there.
What can you say? It was, not very good, and but it was made, and for someone made a movie, and I think that's being nice. That's an achievement in itself, really. Whether it's like a book, isn't it? You could write a book. It's an achievement to me. If it gets slammed and it's a load of rubbish,
but you finished it.
I value your opinion. It was a thing years ago when I was with Royal Mail. We used to have a little charity running team, and we went to some race on a Sunday, and on the Monday, our boss Barry went, 1 hour 30 for a half marathon. Oh, it's not very good. I said, well, yeah, but it was better than you because you didn't run it. And it's the same with a film, isn't it? You've got to look at the professionalism of someone who is making a film, because it's an achievement. It might only be their achievement, but to them, it's probably something special.
Just the fact they got through it, and it seemed like there was good costume designs. There was a good locations.
Yeah,
it's just a waste. It's just such a shame. It was a waste.
Yeah. It's the idea was there.
Yeah, and that's what got me intrigued. The idea pulled me in to make me want to watch it.
If they had gone down the route like we explained of, actually using the army against in battle, I think it would have been a lot better.
But
that's all really you can say, really. Isn't it?
Good. Right. The Outpost is one of my favorites. That's basically it's a squad. It's actually it's post World War II. It's it's modern era, but it's an old World War II bunker.
Chris, my friend, you got to feel sad for me tonight because my missus left me because of my obsession with football. We were only together 3 seasons, and things kicked off. She said she was unhappy with her manager, and she asked to revoke her get-out clause. And it's okay though. I've substituted her.
That's actually a good question. World War II, like Death Ship, that's a great one. But these are all post World War II, but it's old Nazi experiments. Blood Vessel's a great one.
Yeah,
that's vampires on a Nazi ship at the end of World War II. That's a cool one. Dead Snow is just daft. It's funny though.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Dead Snow 2. I need to watch it, but that's Dead Snow is basically somebody goes in the wrong place, picks up a piece of Nazi gold, and then Nazi zombies come to get them, and it's to get their gold back. It's like the Leprechaun, but it's with Nazis. It's with zombie Nazis. That's actually a tricky. You think that World War II, maybe because legit horror itself, you'd think it would have spawned more movies, like horror movies, but especially when we knew that the experiments were going on, and just all this craziness was going on in the background that all got unearthed.
Yeah.
Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, to me, that's technically a horror movie, soft one, but it is a bit of a horror movie.
Oh yeah,
especially the ending. There's no messing about there.
There's quite a few films you could say that's a horror movie, but
actual horror genre movies.
We said about Jaws, didn't we? Now Jaws is written on the IMDb as a thriller.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure if a giant shark come after me, I'd be horrified.
Yeah. But then that's the mainstream sort of. They don't want to label things as horror. And we've had this discussion. Obviously, they don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because then it sort of goes on to the ratings and all things like that. But
there's not that many.
Not a great deal. I suppose you could say that war in itself is a horror, isn't it? Because if you take Saving Private Ryan, when you see bits of body being blown up everywhere, that's horror in itself, because it's real to life, and it's
which is funny because that's when we had the censorship of horror discussion. Why is it okay to do that in a mainstream movie, but the minute you put the horror label on it, it's detestable and you're sickos and blah blah blah?
Yeah, because films like Saving Private Ryan are real to life. Those things happen, shells being fired at soldiers on the beach, and machine guns, and everything else, and people blown apart in a way that it was shown on several war movies, really. But I think Spielberg did it graphically on Saving Private Ryan, and rightly so, because he wanted to portray the horror of being in war. So I suppose you could argue there that war is horror, so any World War II movie that probably of latter day, like today, is a horror movie. But again, going back to your thing, that they wouldn't actually say, "Oh, this is a horror film. This is a war movie."
Puppet Master 3. Yeah, that was set during. That was God, what do you call him? That was his origins. Toulon. That was Toulon's origins. Set during it. Ghost of War. I reviewed that one.
I haven't seen that.
That is technically not it's not a World War II, but it has a World War II setting, and there's a reason for it. But yeah, I reviewed that one, and it was a strange twist at the end. The others, that's a World War II, I suppose, but not strictly. I think what Chris is asking, I think what we're looking for is actually set during the conflict and soldiers involved. And right,
for a book there. See,
Blood Rain, the 3. I watched the first one, Blood Rain, and the Third Reich. So there's a Blood Rain movie set in World War II. I'm not watching it because that movie was terrible. Horrendous. Oh God, there's another one. Shadow in the Cloud. That's what's her face? Cortez. What do you call her? Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah,
that was awful. I don't think I didn't review it. It was terrible. Another puppet. Yeah, most of the Puppet Master ones, because that was all set during it. Toulon was a live during that. Zombie Lake. No, nothing. Hannibal Rising. Oh God, that was terrible. That was the most god awful movie ever. shame because the first two were cool. Even Red Dragon was cool.
Yeah.
That Rising was terrible.
Yeah.
Werewolves of the Third Reich. I have not seen that, but that looks. I'm sure that's special.
Because that Hannibal Rising, they used a French actor as Hannibal, didn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, they used a French actor as Hannibal and Rhys Ifans as what were they, Russian?
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't.
I don't know why Rhys Ifans.
Never didn't enjoy that movie whatsoever. It was daft. And once again, it's not really an apologist movies apologizing for the villain. You know, this trend of villains can't be villains. The whole point, you're terrified of the villain. You're fascinated by them. They're a monster.
Yeah,
that's why we enjoy watching them.
Life made him what it is.
Yeah, it's everybody else's fault. They put Pan's Labyrinth here, but that was that not Spanish Civil War?
Who was that?
Pan's Labyrinth. Was that not set during the Spanish Civil War?
I've never saw Pan's Labyrinth.
It's good enough. Is that a Del Toro one? $1944. All right, it's yeah, it was set during the Second World War, but it wasn't really because Spain technically wasn't part of the conflict. It had its own stuff going on. It was just prior to the Civil War, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Guillermo del Toro one. It's a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's one of those that's come across, and I thought, oh, yeah, should I watch that? And then something else has come up. And
yeah, there's Nazi Overlord. There's a few sort of indie, but they're not really. It's not a genre that's used a lot, which is strange.
It's a good opening for a book, then, isn't it?
Apparently, The Woman in Black 2, I never watched that. I just didn't see the need.
I went to see the stage show of The Woman in Black.
Very good?
Yeah, it was very good, actually. I'm not sure if you're familiar with EastEnders, but the guy who played Bradley was actually the main character in it. He was very good. But he died in EastEnders and came back to life for the stage show of Woman in Black. I couldn't argue because I got free tickets. So,
yeah, there's really not that many there. So
there you go, Chris. If you know any more, Chris, let us know.
Yeah, just look at the list. There's not that many, but so there you go.
Chris, I think Star Wars was a horror World War II movie. Yeah.
They were wearing the right uniforms for it, weren't they? the prequels and the Disney Star Wars was definitely a horror show for many other reasons. How bad is it these days being a Star Wars fan? Still being a Star Wars fan, holding on hope. That must be a terrible way to live.
Yeah.
I just gotta pity them. It's like, this will get good one day again. I have hope. Yeah, okay, right, crack on. It's funny because I see more Star Wars. I spend more time on blocking stuff for Star Wars stuff because it just bombards me, and I've seen more Star Wars memes than the actual fans. It's just hilarious. I know most of the plot through memes.
Yeah. So when Anakin Skywalker kills Samuel L. Jackson, and then he bows down in front of.
Oh God, that was painful.
He goes, "Arise! You will now be known as Darth Vader."
Vader! He just looks at it.
I would, if that was me, I was going, "Can I be Darth Spider-Man?" Vader, where'd you get that from?
Oh God, that was the dialogue, and that is what killed me.
Yeah,
the dialogue just broke my head listening to it.
Yeah, it's like when Amidala's in there and she gets attacked by those snaky things, and Anakin goes, turns around, and suddenly, instead of them both running in, Obi-Wan Kenobi goes, "I sense it too," and then they start running in. Well, I would have just run if there was like poisonous snaky things attacking, the woman. I wouldn't have gone, "Hey, Colin, Colin,
You and me, yeah.
my house is on fire." Oh,
Was womp.
see that as well. Terrible.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
there you go. There's a review. We went on a load of tangents because there wasn't enough of this movie to actually talk about. Check it out if you want. There's a link in the description. Let us know if it's the best thing ever and you really loved it. That'd be funny to hear.
I've only given it 3 out of 10 on IMDb. So. I think that was mainly due to the fact, like I said, it was someone's achievement. It was an attempt at a film that could have been better. I think the idea was there. I think the monsters were okay. You could tell that it was a limited budget film, I think. Perhaps they were expecting it to go straight to streaming or DVD, whatever the case would be. Perhaps reading up on it, they were putting out their feelers prior to actually making the film on whether it would be a good thing to make. But
that signals lack of self-confidence to begin with.
Yeah,
she would really do this,
Yeah,
and you can see the lack of self-confidence throughout it. Just not.
Yeah, and if you can't get someone well known in the film to then you've really got no hope, really. I mean, but or a big up and coming actor for.
Crazy for the being role. The end objective that has to be. You have to be blown away. This was just gibbering, but there you go. It is what it is. We'll try and better for the next one.
Definitely.
More palatable.
Yeah,
but you have to. Yeah, that's the roller coaster, though. You have, we can't have too many good movies. We'll have to get some bad ones in there too, just to balance it all out.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go. Thanks very much, everyone. This is our shortest review ever.
I'm used to being here about 3:00 in the morning and going.
So there's a record, but as usual, folks, keep up to date with the channel, do the typey clicky things, and until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.